Are we doing some press, or these are stools that we sit on? Can we just sit on the stage? Why not? Can everyone see us if we
I
do?
just sit like this?
Yeah.
It's a very like, what are you gonna do, arrest me
Can
for
everyone see
smoking?
me okay? Yeah. All right. Wow.
1994.
1994. What was it like?
What was it like?
Hold on, I want some water.
How many people wish that you were gonna do that tonight? How many people love the world just as it is right now? Amazing. Okay, well the votes are clear. The votes are clear. Nostalgia's in. Again, that's the great thing about nostalgia.
Yeah, this 90s nostalgia. I mean, this was the last time, this was the time before, you know, I guess the computers and everything came in
Later.
and kind of drowned all this.
Yeah.
But it's still here. I'm still saying that the vibrancy of New York is still here. It's so great you all even left your apartments.
Look at how many people left your apartment.
Look, Emma and Chris are here. Thank you so much for dressing up and leaving your apartments and coming out to see a movie. You know, no one does that anymore, so
It is
I'm
rare.
happy that you're all here.
I mean, well, and there's people who are literally going to go see you in another film and then come and see this, and it's, so it's just
And there's a falafel truck outside, so.
yeah, falafel and seltzer.
Yep.
Yeah,
You
it's
wanna
right
come by.
outside.
Yep.
I remember doing that. How many people remember coming home at like 4 a.m. and getting a falafel and feeling weird?
Gyro.
Did someone say gyro? Wow, risky. Good for you. Yeah, I mean, I remember it. Well, how many people? We were doing this in the car ride over. How many people remember Flamingo East?
Oh my God,
That's
yeah.
when I really am like, remember that?
Global 33.
What?
Global 33.
Bubble 33, Bordeaux, Jackie 60, of course, the Cochran is on 12th and A. The World.
World.
I
Rock
mean,
and roll fag bar.
yes, Save the Robots. I See Guys. I See Guys was wild. Boy Bar.
Boy Bar.
Cage.
Pyramid. Tunnel.
A light.
Limelight.
I mean, it really.
Okay, yeah.
Where are people going to dance?
Roller skating at the Roxy. on
Roller skating at the
Sundays.
Roxy.
Yeah.
Big
Has
deal.
to come back. It has to come
Madonna
back.
DJing that night. I heard.
You made that up.
I did make. No, I should think she did it. Oh look, Madonna's here. That's so sweet.
Madonna came.
So sweet,
Madonna.
so generous. Where are people going? We were also talking about this in the car. Like, are people going out dancing now? Anywhere?
Yeah. On table.
Oh my God, Alan! I remember dancing with you at a club on like 13th and something, and like when you a while. Yeah, upstairs on 13th. I remember meeting you there. Yeah. What else? How was your day?
There's this party called The Loft. Has anyone ever heard of that or been to that? And that started right after Studio 54 closed, and it's been going on for like 30 years, and it's a floating like DJ party. You've heard of this, right? You have to be invited by another DJ, so just like ask your friends, and someone will know someone you can go. I've gone twice, and the last time I went, there were people from all over the world, but the main core was New Yorkers, and it started around 4. BYOB, and bring your own food from 4 o'clock to like 2 or 3 in the morning, maybe. And then a slideshow. This woman in her 60s on a ladder.
Keep going.
Slide projector. Projecting photographs of the community that is still dancing from Studio 54 now at the Loft. So there were like, you know, someone's backyard with like a fox or like a plate of, you know, whatever, a piece of bread on a table and someone like waving, and just like home pictures. And it was a community. It happens on a Sunday night before a Monday holiday.
That's for theater people.
And I mean, they are there to dance and just be free. to like the best DJs in the world.
But the DJ has to invite you, so you can't invite me. So
I could.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I could, and it's something like $59 in cash at the door.
My
And when I
Venmo
went
is my
in-
name. That fervor. Yeah. My Venmo.
When I went in, the guy at the door, and I think it was at that Ukrainian club in the East Village on 2nd,
Uh-huh.
and he took me, he opened the door, he'd tell we were so excited just to go out dancing, and he's like, I'm sorry, the party's over. And we were like, what? You know, we just turned into kids again. He was like, I'm just kidding, come on in. I go, okay, thank God. And we danced for hours, yeah, it's beautiful.
I want to go.
Yeah, well, you gotta, I don't know
I'll-
anyone that could,
No.
but we're gonna work on it.
Sounds good.
Okay, who wants to know anything about?
I mean, what I also think is amazing and that I'm looking at Harry about is that how many people know that this was turned into a TV show? Okay, some people know. Some people know. That was new for
You
me.
didn't know that?
How many people know that this was also turned into an action film? Yeah, that this was turned into an action film and Parker shot that, but it never made it to the States.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but it is exciting, yeah. That was called Party Girls with a Z at the end of it. And yeah, I loved it. That was when Kim's video was still around. And if you missed Kim's video, then too bad.
Let's do a
Yeah.
round of applause for Kim.
Kim's video!
I've been doing press a lot for Party Girl and
Well,
I would say a
and-
lot, and Beau is Afraid. And I've been talking about, and I know it's hopeful of me, but I hope cinema is coming back and that the younger people are into real movie making
Yeah.
and going into a theater and watching a movie with other people that they don't know. And there's no place better than New York to do that. And I think it is coming back in the conversations that I'm having. Is that right, Harry? Do you think so? Do you
Well, and
guys-
also I feel it's also this, I mean, this thing around characters in a film and character work rather than I think what a lot of us became accustomed to of people playing themselves. And what it also, and you and I have talked about this, the death of the character actor in reality television. I mean, because if you're able to get someone to be like, you have to come back in, that wasn't real. That's Kelly from Real Housewives. I loved that scene. But the fact, you know, when you have someone doing something like that, the idea of like, well, how do you get ahead of that? And also, where's the heart? I think is a real question inside of this as well. That this film has so much of, and I mean, for me, I got here just as indies were really sort of like I was meeting with Christine while they were like, I don't know what we're doing. That's like Killer Films, and it's the sense of this thing starting and then it falling apart, and now it does feel like there is some swell of it coming back, and in this way that also feels very interesting if one considers time and the time of when indies were happening at this point, what we're coming out of in terms of AIDS in Hollywood at that point, and what I think looking at now in terms of this real non-consensual reality that we've all been in for a while. I think COVID made that very clear, how non-consensual reality is, and how that was, and still is so wild.
Yeah.
So how can movies, which are something that so many of us grew up in and maybe felt alienated by, or really hopeful by if it was the Bette Davis film, like for me, but something that I actually feel I could be in, was something that I feel Party Girl and films like Party Girl held inside of them. And did you feel that at the time in doing
No.
Party? No.
No,
Right.
it like New York at that time, it was like, this is what it is,
Mm.
and New York is a place where it was performative, it was exciting, we were doing theater and doing movies, and you could recreate yourself. I remember seeing Toni Collette in, what was the movie that she did? In Muriel's Wedding. It was just this excitement, you could run into people and get a paper flyer and go into this club and like see someone else, and there was community there at that time that I do think everything old is new again, and I do think it'll come back, and maybe everyone being locked up for so long will, you know, create this like, let's, you know, what are we going to make here? If New York isn't the epicenter of creativity, theater, and the arts and the performing arts, where else? You know, it's not gonna, Well, I guess it could happen somewhere else.
Well, it's also the same time we get it out of there. I mean, it's like I grew up in a town of 2,500 people in the middle of nowhere, and I saw this film there, and I was like, yeah, I'll make it in New York. I mean, it felt the same as, not the same, I was gonna be like, the same as like when I saw Dynasty, and I thought, is that what it's like to be an adult? But, so the champagne is burned. I think that the making and also the divide between the coasts in terms of the filmmaking that has been, I think, really clear for so long, is also starting to feel a little murkier in terms of actually maybe New York being able to have budget to have experimental films going forward. Such as, I mean, Beau. I mean, I feel that film coming out right now and Ari having the success that Ari's having is showing that. I'm curious to see more of that happening, especially with content inside of a film like this that has so much queer content in it.
Right.
That also feels like that's not the thing that's being pointed at, but is part of the life of it.
But it's back to it being what it is. It is that. We are that. New York is that.
Yeah.
And so when we were doing the movie, it was like, we were all those people who came from somewhere else to be ourselves and to, dance on the streets and on the sidewalks and go to Wigstock and just be free. And it had that, and I still want to live in a city like that, and I still carry myself like that. Let's have a round of applause. Don't if we don't do that, I haven't lived in the city for like 5 years, and I took a cab ride, and there was this cab driver and some guy on a bicycle like almost ran into the cab, and he just made his way to like reach out of the cab and say he was sorry and like, oh, I didn't mean it, and I started crying. I was like, this is so beautiful. Like, we have that here, and I know there's an after party, we all want to get out of here, so I mean, we can leave on that note, but maybe, right?
Well, I also want to pitch it to the back as well.
Yeah, let's pitch it to the back.
I want to pitch it to the back too.
Yeah, oh, well, thank you so much.
Hi, Kira. So you share with us for a sec.
Oh my God. I remember auditioning for Party Girl and being brought in to do a chemistry read with Parker, and I was telling her this earlier, and she like took my sides, like my script, they give you like sides, like pages of the script to audition with, and she just grabbed them out of my hands and like threw them on the ground and was like, let's just do this, like fuck those pages. Let's just act, like let's just do it. And I was like, oh my God, she's amazing. And we just did it and just had fun and just did the scene and sort of improv'd. And
we shot on film, and shooting on film was such
Yeah.
a big deal because it was like, there's a mag in this camera,
Yeah.
and can you get this in 2
Yeah.
takes? Do you think you can do this?
I think
Do you think you could do this? You're like, yeah, we got it. Everyone, the attention, the focus
Yeah.
of everyone. And it was so much more like a sport.
Yeah.
And not to knock digital, but it changed
Yeah.
the way movies were made.
And
They
remember
don't say check the gate anymore for that
Yeah.
hair on the
Really?
left.
Oh, and that was exciting.
Yeah. Remember the camera guy would have to change the film and put his hands into like these
Yeah,
gloves that
yeah.
would go in and change the film like without looking at it like it was so different. Like,
Yeah.
that shit doesn't happen.
Yeah, and we were at the mercy of that,
Yeah.
right? Because you were
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh, we were really
Yeah, we
living in
can't
that
fuck up,
take.
yeah.
That was
Yeah.
a good few takes, and
Yeah.
now it's at the mercy of something. It was so much more humbling. Do you know what I mean? Like there was
Yeah.
that risk, and
Yeah,
I
yeah,
miss
yeah,
that.
yeah.
I think that's really.
I also remember Parker, like while we were shooting the movie or right after Parker
Don't embarrass me.
would have us over to her apartment on like 19th
Yeah,
Street, right?
yeah. Uh-huh.
And you would do bad movie night
Oh.
and just have us over and order Chinese food. And I think the first movie we watched was Written on the Wind with Lauren Bacall.
Oh wow.
And we would just laugh at how bad but amazing it was. And it was just like a bad. We would
Did
just
I show you Abigail's party?
Yes,
Like,
yes,
yeah.
of course.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Yeah.
So many great. And
Yeah.
then you took us out to the tunnel one night, me,
Uh-huh.
Harry, and you, and we were like I felt like I was with like, you know, with like Madonna or whatever, because Parker just like rolled up and they were like, come on in.
But I like to dance, so I
Yeah,
just,
yeah,
you know, would
yeah,
go out
yeah.
and, you know, we'd work, literally, Mustafa and I would go to, you know, voguing at the Roxy with these queens who would like knock us on our asses and we didn't even care. We just, I mean, they would just like whirl in front of us and it was pretty amazing. It
Well,
was so
and-
free.
And Dwight and Wendell, right, were like your.
Yeah, how is
best
Wendell?
friends.
Yeah, yeah.
I hope it's
Okay,
on.
mine.
Is this on?
Oh, wow.
Hi, everybody.
But like, yeah, hello, all that stuff
Yeah.
was like
With
Dwight
Santa,
and
yeah.
Wendell and
Mhm.
like you guys, like
Yeah.
you guys created all of that.
Yes.
Like that was, I mean,
And we were making our own clothes.
Yeah.
Like, we were walking miles to go see Delight.
I also have to, I mean, I didn't know this before the film, that Bill, this was your first film doing the music for.
Yes.
Really? Amazing.
And how was that?
Hi, everyone. It was fun. It was fun. I got introduced to Harry and Daisy and Stephanie, one of our producers, and is sitting out there in the audience, by a mutual friend who's no longer with us by the name of Gary Cook. And read the script and was really just felt like home. It felt like people I knew, and I completely resonated with the script very easily. Got back to them with some notes and just was a love fest. We had so much fun putting this together. It was very easy. For my very first film, I had been working in management and I was a music journalist before, so I didn't really have any context as to how the music business works, so I didn't know that we couldn't get like Run DMC or things like that. So it was more like, sure, you know, we'll call Tom Tom Club and get folks to do songs for us, and they did. They
That was
loved
a
it.
big deal, the Tom Tom Club,
Yeah, that was
to
very
get that
Yes.
song, right?
And Chris and Tina were gonna be here. They're in the Bahamas, and they say one love to everybody.
And Harry,
Yeah.
how did it happen?
Well, I just would like to acknowledge the wonderful work of Michael Clancy, who was the costume designer of that was done last year. You know, he made such an incredible contribution to the movie and the world and the character and the storytelling and the humor and the style. Do you know what I mean? And I remember the two of you when you kind of first met and like the connection there. And I remember how
Yeah,
excited
you know,
you
there was
both
like,
were.
yeah, there was so much chemistry. It just feels like, when everyone's working towards, it was back to when I was saying, like, I need a favor. Do you want to be a part of something? We're making a movie about the scene in New York. Can you help us out? And Vicky, the stylist, and I'll just stop here and say, like, so lucky our first experiences were like this, but measuring the things that I do now to that, and having to, and seeing, like, knowing the difference of what, like, that, we're all creating something that will meet in the middle. It's not your idea or my idea. We're not negotiating here. This isn't a transaction. This is something that is, I'm playing an instrument and you are too. We're making something right now. What is it going to turn into and be about? So the styling was very much like that. It was so collaborative. And that is just the best way to work. It's just the magic. And I feel really blessed and so happy that I'm coming full circle and this is getting a re-release in other theaters across the country. And maybe people are going to see it. You know, it's great. I'm really happy about that. Yeah.
And Blu-ray from Fun City Editions out there.
Yeah.
And Mustafa.
Oh no!
Oh, I know, but I just want to hear a little bit about going out voguing with Parker.
Oh my God! I'm sitting watching this movie, and I gotta tell you, I'm just in tears. You know this, and just because it was so real. You know what was going on at the time for us. It was playtime.
Yeah.
It didn't really feel. I know you were making a movie, you know,
Yeah,
but for us,
yeah.
it was playtime. We were
Yeah.
always in the clubs. We were always together having a good time. We were in our 20s,
Yeah.
smoking cigarettes.
Some of us still have cigarettes. Smoke, don't vape.
But yes, I am. This is a beautiful memory, a beautiful statement about the time that we were growing up in, and the influence that we'll have is just really beautiful. It's so beautiful to watch. I'm so glad to be a part of it.
Yeah, me too.
Absolutely.